So thank you for joining us on what is a new flurry into a video series with Crazy Killing Machine. So my name's Carl, and I am trying a new concept. Hopefully this is going to work. But this is random access archives. So the concept of the video is I'm going to invite people along on a weekly basis to bring a deck, not necessarily the best deck that they think's the strongest in their collection, but a deck that they enjoy, a deck that's fun, a deck that's got some story, a bit of history. We're going to talk about that deck. They're going to explain why they brought it to the game, and then I'm going to go randomly into my collection of, I think as it stands at the minute, 256 decks. Pull something out, play with it, and then see what deck I pulled. Either it'll be junk, or it'll be great, or somewhere in between. So yeah, hopefully this is going to work. And with me for the first pilot episode, I've got Callum. Say hello to everyone, Callum.
Hello, my
Good.
name's Callum. I'm here from Team Screech Bob-Omb.
Team Screech Bob-Omb. So Callum is CalumSLZ on SLZ, is that right?
Yes, it is.
SLZ on TCO. You may have seen him around. He's a frequent player online, and very recently started doing some if I do say so myself, some A+ quality commentary around
Oh,
KFPL. So
thank you very much.
yeah, you're very welcome, man.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Have been doing that.
So I've asked Callum to come along now. So before we jump into the deck that you've sent me for us to look at, tell us a little bit more about you, your Keyforge, what you like, what you dislike, your team, anything you want to tell us. You've got a couple of minutes.
All right, couple of minutes. So normally I play lots of decks that have lots of little tiny creatures that do fun things. So this deck's definitely a departure. We'll come on to that a little bit. In terms of me, I mean, it's actually the first proper CCG that I've really got into. I'd sort of played a little bit of some of the ones at various points, tried a bit of Magic, didn't quite take to it. And this one I was like, oh, okay, so you can just get a deck and then you're ready to go. And there's none of the massive amounts of deck building. I can probably manage to keep up without having to spend hours and hours and hours building complicated things. And it's been really cool. It's what I always particularly liked was the sheer variety of everything. Rather than just having a couple of archetypes, you have so many decks that do so many crazy different things.
I think a lot of people can relate to exactly what you just said then, because I mean, I wasn't a huge. I've certainly never sort of stepped into the realms of Magic, or I've never really been a huge TCG or CCG player. I played a bit of Netrunner just before for the Death Rattle, just as that died, Android Netrunner, which I had a huge amount of fun with. And then I was the one before, I suppose the one before this that I was really big on was Destiny. So I can certainly mirror what you've just said there. This has been my first big jump into a. Do we refer to it as a TCG, a CCG?
I've no idea. I've never.
Card game.
Does it card game?
Doesn't
quite fit either of those labels that well.
Yeah, for sure. So appreciate the introduction, but I think we've all realised that this series is all about the decks we're going to play, not the people that are playing them. So let's talk about the deck that you've brought. So you've brought the Lycanthropic Guest of Normalsway. Now, other than being an absolute mouthful, first of all, tell me why you brought this deck.
So I brought this deck because it's my favorite deck from Mass Mutations, which is my favorite set. It's a lot of fun to play, and it has a lot of sort of cool tricks in it. I never remember the name because we always just refer to it as the Kong deck, or Kong, because that is the big thing that you immediately sort of see. You've got Niffle Kong, 3 Niffle Apes, and Niffle Queen. So I was pretty excited when I opened it, because it's the first time I got one of the big gigantic creatures, which I was pretty hyped about.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I played against a friend of mine, and I was like, oh, this is actually quite good.
Well, this is going to be the disadvantage for you, because, well, let's talk about the disadvantage for me. Is I don't know what I'm going to play against it, but we're going to spend a few minutes sort of dissecting sort of the things that we can see and what I should be looking out for, and hopefully it levels itself out a little bit. But I can see straight away, you're absolutely right. The Niffle Kong with a Niffle Queen as well as 3 Niffle Apes, which is always good fun. But the thing that's jumped out at me before both of those is that the 2 Barrister Joyers.
That's. Gets me through quite a few games.
Yeah,
there isn't a full board wipe in the deck, which is sometimes quite a severe problem. But you just sort of have to try and shut it down, or hurl endless monkeys and knights into things.
Monkeys and knights, the monkey and knight.
Keep throwing creatures into other creatures, because you've got 22 and they're pretty sizable.
Yeah, 22 creatures. So one thing that's going to go in my favour, I hope, is a low amber count. So there's only 8 amber. So it's obviously all the amber's going to come from the board itself. So
Yes.
let's go through the list. So I'm scared of the two barriers to joy. So I hope I've got
Yeah.
something that can deal with those. So at diametric charge, you've got quite a nice amount of creature control. So you've got a principal with she's going to mess about with my amber, an auto encoder with a dynamo, which is tasty.
Yeah, it's not like a super autoencoder deck, and that you do actually want to play most things, but
hmm So
it's
you're
handy.
going to be discarding some of those logos cards if you get that coder out in quickly. So there's going to be quite a heavy archive to deal with.
Yeah.
What are we discarding out of there? I mean, realistically, the group think tanks are nice, but they're
Well, this
gift
is the
worthy.
thing. I found playing it. I didn't play that well initially because I was discarding too many things. But then I actually sort of realized after a couple of slightly too many games, but after some games, like no, you can just keep playing all these things on the board, and they all do something that's pretty useful.
Yeah.
T-
Yes, for sure. The
t-
two cleansing waves, which is going to be disgusting with all the fighting you're going to be doing. I don't think
yeah,
there's that one diametric charge that's going to do some raw damage for the two cleansing waves, so I'll
uh,
probably stay
yeah.
away from that.
The Gizelheart Zealot is pretty handy because it's got damage pip on it, so you can sort of drop that down, comes in ready, run it into something, and get
Interesting,
at least two from the cleansing wave.
for sure. And then a key frog. Have you got anything in? You've got nothing in hand that's going to get rid of the key frog out
Uh,
of house. So
but the Niflcon can do it,
the Niflcon can do it. Can it do it?
and that's it can, yeah, because you can deal 3 damage to
Three
your own
damage to any
creatures as
creature for
well.
sure. I was automatically thinking Niflkong, so is you can destroy a Niffle creature, but then it's also to do 3 damage to
Yeah,
steal.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And to purge. Oh, okay, so and purge a creature. Right. Okay. So there's plenty of stuff to watch out for. The one stood against many. You're going to be running some stuff. Are you going to do lots of fight? This is a very fighty deck.
It is a very fighting deck, to be fair. The one that against many has so many like good targets. You can do it on Niflkong, you can do it on the Dark Fairy, you can do it on Baldric, you can do it on Adaptoid, you can do it on the Xeno Knight, which is always particularly entertaining.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So yeah, you can see the board strength of 137 is going to be quite
It's
spicy.
huge.
You've got 22 creatures. You got no board wipes. You got your key cheat and your key
Uh,
frog.
yeah, the lack of board wipes is my eternal pain when
Yeah,
playing many of my decks, this one included.
and you do have some artifact control in Reclaim by Nature, and what else is it calling? Artifact
The
control.
Kong does it as well.
For sure, yeah, and the Kong, yeah. Okay, so certainly a fun deck. 71, does
Yeah.
71 do it justice? I mean, I'd probably put this a little higher than 71, but
I'd maybe put it a little higher than 71, but not that much higher, I don't think.
no,
It
no.
used to be 75, and that was, I think, uh, better
Fair,
reflection.
yeah, I think that's one thing
Yeah.
we've not spoken about. I think we've spoken about every card in here so far, except for those two Pismires. Those two Pismires are going to be a stinker, especially if I don't get a mass mutation deck. I can see them being
Yeah, it's just extra Ember control, pretty simple to do as well.
a nightmare to deal with. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've done a bit of a bit of a
That's it.
dive into the deck. I think the next thing I need to do is let's go into some randomizer. So I have a wheel, and I have a wheel
Oh,
which you can't see, but everybody else can
oh
see,
no.
with
I'll have to check this out later.
256 decks loaded in, and I'm going to spin this sucker and see what happens.
Alrighty.
Okay, and it gives me a little celebration come the end of it. So it's stopping. We've got a yellow deck. I've got Dulce, Brook Bridges Cooper, or Dulce. So never heard of it, which is a good start. So 256 decks. My decks range. So I never play. I've got a rule. I don't play anything over 80 because I think there's just as many. There's some phenomenal decks to be found in the high 70s. So my decks range between
Sure.
42 and 79, and I suppose the high likelihood is it's going to be somewhere in the mid 60s. So we'll cut for a second. I'll load the deck up, and we'll see you on TCO.
Okay. All right.
So we've delved into the archives. We've come out with Dulce or Dulce or Dulce. How would you pronounce that? Dulce? Dulce?
I would say Dolce, but I think that's
I'll
because I've
go
been
with
looking at too
Dulce.
many Italian decks recently.
Yeah, Dulce Brookbridge Cooper. And first thing we know is it's an AOA deck, which fills me full of confidence before I've even started. We've got Logos, we've got Sanctum, we've got Untamed, which, I mean, yep, I'm not too upset with at this
Mm,
point. But things, so what we've seen, we've got a triple Helper Bot, double Nepenthe Seed, with my own Barrister Joya. So, yeah, go through the deck quickly.
Got
We've got
a
Yeah, it's spicy. It's I mean, I don't know.
Hadros Wall, which I'll guarantee I'll fuck up at one point.
Got a Hadros wall. We've got soldiers to flowers with one, two,
Ooh.
three, four, 5 creatures. Meh. Niffle grounds with. Is that Niffle grounds with no niffle?
I did
Nice.
not know you could do that. I assumed it came with at least one.
An Opal Knight, an Untamed Ambassador, Rothias the Fierce, Igor, Quantum Finger Trap, which, if you've watched any of our videos before, I think is the worst card ever made.
Oh, interesting.
Including Toad. No, so when it came out, it was the worst card ever made. I think now with the release of more taunt creatures and some shifty stuff,
I don't
it
know.
does a bit, but I just hate it. I hate the card.
I've got 2 groupthink tags over here, so I think it might be useful for you.
Yeah,
For
oh, for
once.
sure. What a great idea, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I've got a
Why
bouncing.
am I helping you?
Yeah, yeah. And then a bouncing Death Quark, Cutthroat Research,
That's
Pit, Poke, which is going to do some damage. I can feel it. So, without further ado, let's play some Keyforge.
okay.
Oh, and for some reason, I'm not loading cards. There we go. They're coming eventually. Come on, cards. Come to me, cards. There we go.
That's a hot mess of a hand.
Well, I think I'm keeping that. I've got to keep that. Right, let's play some Keyforge. What have we got in hand? I'm not going to talk out too loud, but we'll see. People can see what's happening. So, what's coming out first? Maybe that. Let's go for that. There's one of them. Straight out with one helper bot, and what do I want to play? Probably this BB, and a Marek the Mark to the left.
What is this outrageous cheating?
Oh, I've just realised that I'm playing with half cards as well, so I probably need to zoom in a little bit.
Ah.
How's that? Is that? There we go. That'll do for now. And I'll zoom out if I have to. So a helper bot into a Marek the Marked, and your go.
Okay. Gotta try and get out of this fairly terrible opening hand.
So we've got Font of the Eye. We've got a Blazing Glare to stun Marek the Marked. Okay. Is that fine now? That's fine now. So we're going into a big Sanctum turn, I think, at this point. Make sure I do it in the right order. So we'll play an Orbade to the right. We'll remove a stun. An Ambassador can just go wherever because he's not going to last very long. I'm sorry, but this is a monster Sanctum turn that's happening. Oh dear! Oh dear! Makes his first mistake. Oh, it's made a mistake straight away. I'm still going to play it. You can have your amber back. There you go. Opal Knight should have come out first before Obaid, but I mean I'm fine with it because also comes down a Bordan and an Armorsmith.
Yeah, and already I'm not feeling too great, guys.
So that is a big old Borders Sanctum.
We talked earlier about how I don't have any like proper board wipes, and I could really go for a Savage Clash.
I mean, a Savage Clash would be quite handy, but I mean, I'm not gonna. So again, for people that have watched these videos, I hate Sanctum for exactly what I probably could do at the moment, which is just not play cards and reap. But I mean, as a first video for Random Access Archives, I don't know if people will come back and watch a second one.
I was going to say, could be pretty bad, because that would probably continue to be fairly effective.
It probably would, especially when you drop a Hadroth's Wall and a Barrister Joya to the right.
just obviously just after I've discarded that Reclaimed by Nature.
What a disgusting play. Okay, so let's get rid of the Pismire.
Could have held the Reclaimed by Nature. It's like, nah, it's fine.
You can keep your Niffle-Ape, I think. I'll reap.
Sure, it's super powerful.
We'll reap with the Opal Knight. We will reap with the Bordan, and then we will play a Dharma to the left to gain an amber from Marek the Mark being damaged. I suppose I'll just reap with the Armorsmith. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this game's going to be over incredibly quickly.
Well, this is the beauty of Random Access Archives.
Yeah, unless one of these things might live.
Uh-oh.
Which might be able to help me out.
For sure.
but we'll see.
So looking at
Yeah,
mine, I've probably got to not let them leave, not let them live. So we'll go Logos. I suppose the clever play at that point might have been Sanctum, but Helperbot's doing nothing other than reaping. I've got a sloppy lab work to archive
and BDQ. Okay.
that, and yeah, and we'll discard a Bob-Omb. And then out comes the Death Quark.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously like the lack of a board wipe in this deck is what loses me almost all of the games that I get beaten, because you can just make a start where you don't have the creatures you need, and you just get beaten off the board constantly, and therefore can't really do much.
Yeah, this is it's gone pretty well as a starting hand for me. So I think we'll trade a group think tank for a Helperbot. I think that's a fair trade. And then we'll trade the other group think tank for.
Probably Dana.
Oh no, I like Dana. I like Dana where she is at the minute. Do I? I mean, she's gone 4-1. I'm not a big fan. Oh, yeah, it's got to be Dana. Of course it has.
Yeah, keep those for a
And
second.
then I'll leave it at that. You can keep your serums and your apes and your fonts of the eye.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do what I always do when I get in trouble with this deck. Keep throwing monkeys and knights at problems.
The monkey and knight deck.
Well, I was like, I need to get stuff on the board. I need to have the sort of required presence to do stuff.
Got a problem? Throw a monkey or a knight at it. So you have played a Xeno Knight for 5. Look at the 3. I don't know about you, but I still can't, like, without even looking at it, get the Xenos and the Lycos and the I've got to look at the card. I just can't get it. The words are too similar.
Especially as the Star Alliance one of look at top 3 and then mix it up a bit versus the Logos one of like discard draw. I can imagine Star Alliance also doing discard draw.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally get it. So where are we at the minute? So you've played a Baldric and a Joya, which in an ideal world I'd biff them both off. Which I think I'm going to have to do with some big sanctums. Let's have a Joya off. So let's go one Joya against the other. Let's go. We'll reap, obviously, with the Ambassador to play the first of 2 Nepenthe Seeds.
Yeah, and they like normally never live, but it's like I've just had nothing to take it out.
Do I care about? I do care about Baldric the Bold. Baldric the Bold does have to go. Let's take some damage. So Arbondra into Baldric, and I think the other 2 can reap themselves to glory.
Okay, let's see if I can get some more cards. This will help me. That's got 1.
She plays a daughter, uses the serum to sacrifice. She can use mutants. Of course she can. So you can use your Xeno Knight. Looks like the top 3 cards of his deck. What's going to help you at this point?
Nothing is the problem.
That Pismire? That second Pismire, maybe? I mean, let's tell the truth. Regardless of the outcome of this game, it's fallen quite nicely for me to have an opening hand of five Sanctum creatures.
It did not hurt. I'm starting to wear them down as time goes by. But I'm already so far behind.
Well, let's go. What have we got in discard? Anything interesting that could? I don't want to bouncy Death Quark at the minute. I'm not bothered about Equalize at the minute. Oh, I mean, I haven't got Equalize in hand. Let's get rid of some of these. Let's get rid of some of these untamed. So play a Fog Bank, so there's no fighting.
It's like my whole thing.
Please don't fight me. Yep. So we've got dropped a Fog Bank. We'll go with an Earthbind on Well, you don't really want to be fighting with Xenomite much more because he's going to die. He's going to be reaping. So there we go. You can Earthbind on a Xenonite. Why not? We'll play a Fanghouse to the right. We'll play a Dana to the left for 2 more amber.
Dana coming up pretty well.
And then we'll play Soldiers to Flowers. Oh, which gives you a little bit of amber.
Yeah, it does get rid of one half of Niflgong, which was probably going to be one of my outs. So that's not great.
You're welcome.
Not great. 2 amber, actually.
I'm going to play a seed at this point to bring back. I probably didn't need to play the seed, but I'll play it, and we'll bring back Soldiers to Flowers just for another amber at this point. That'll do.
Just gotta keep putting things down. Can I can't fight, can I?
You cannot fight.
Can't even use it to repeat that.
I've just realised that I'm going to get called out on this video because, like it or not, I'm a dragger. I drag the cards.
Oh, really?
No, I drag the cards into play. Yeah, I just always have.
I've never been a dragger. I didn't realize it was a TCO functionality for about a year.
I've always been a dragger.
Someone was like, "Oh, you can drag stuff."
Right. So you were forging. You think you're forging.
I doubt it.
You're not forging. Let's capture them.
Look, I'm just impressed I made it to 6. I did not 100% think.
I'm fighting. Why am I fighting? What have I missed? What have I missed? You got Barrister Joya down again, you sneaky boy.
There's 2 of them.
That happened without me seeing. So let's have a look. Is there anything I can do about it at this point without giving you that amber back? Trading Joys is no good for me because mine dies, yours lives. Yep, all right. I'm not reaping then. I'll play that on the left. We'll equalize. Let's redistribute some stuff. Fanghouse can have quite a bit, given that Hazard is 3.
Yeah.
And Rathias the Fierce can have the other 2, given the 4. Let's put that on. Put it all on your Niffle Ape.
The sad bit is I've managed to display none of my tricks.
And
It's just been me putting down creatures and watching them die, sadly.
Well, luckily, I think I'm just about to see the end of my... Oh, no, I'm just going to keep... There we go. So up to 5. Oh, and I haven't played Logos yet, so this is going to be an interesting next turn.
Yeah.
So this is the one I don't want to get... I'm clearly not going to get smug about the game because it did fall for me very, very nicely. But this is I suppose this is the beauty of the concept is, do I get a good deck? Do I get a bad deck? I could have quite easily... I mean, we're assuming that this is a good deck. It's just fallen right. And in isolation of one game at a time, I mean, anything can happen, really. So Daughter's fighting Joya. Standardized testing is getting played to kill Rathias and Dana. Down comes a Dynamo. And an Adaptoid. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. So you're up to 6. So, oh no. Okay, I'll go Logos. So I will not play that. I don't want to play that one just yet. I'll play that one first. We'll standardize testing to kill Dynamo and Adaptoid. I will remote access to Font of the Eye onto Bordan.
I think if you hadn't had the BDQ at the exact time you had it, I might have been able to come back from this.
It was definitely a thing. Like I said, the deck's just fallen nicely. Helper Bot is a non-Logos card. We'll play the Helper Bot as well. Into a Niflgrounds. Clear that hand and go up to 8.
It might be the end of me, you know.
What have you got? What have you got on me?
Pismires.
Pismires is only taken to 8.
Yeah, it doesn't do it. I think I've been roundly defeated.
Principle. Prolong that defeat.
Still in the like once it gets many and the autocoder, and the principal are still just buried in the deck. It's been pretty bad. So I'll go out with half of Kong.
It's a big
Sad
half.
times.
Yeah, go for it, Kong.
Can't even play it. The other half is gone. At least finish on check. Mickey Bay. Ugh.
Very good game.
The
Good game.
lack of a board wipe has killed so many of my competitive decks. This is usually just about good enough without one. But yeah, if it had a Savage Clash,
Yeah, just
it's
something,
just one of
just
those
something
like
to deal with them.
yeah, it's one of those
Sanctum.
meta things.
Sure. So, unfortunately, or fortunately for me in my case, I think it might be the first of very, very few in this format of me winning a game with a random deck.
I mean, this is what I get for not bringing a deck with a board wipe to a recorded thing. I could have picked one. I've got several that have board wipes in.
Well, I'm relatively sure nobody's going to watch this and go, "Oh, you lost, so you're bad." You brought a. The concept is we bring a fun deck and play against it random. So in this case, random wins. But before we go back to the next screen, let's have a sass off. What we say deck wise. I don't think this is going to be a high sass deck. I think
I don't at all. I think like low 60s maybe.
I think the 3 helper bots is going to help. The tuna Penseeds are certainly going to help. It's got a
It's gonna
board
like
wipe. It's going to have high creature control with the board wipe, the standardized testing. It's going to have a strong board.
It's probably gonna lose points on Ember control.
There's not a lot of Ember control, is there?
No.
I'm going 64.
Yeah, I'll go 62.
62 or 64. So yeah, on that quick game, but we will cut back to decks of Keyforge and see what Sassy was closest.
All right.
So back we are to decks of Keyforge, and as you can see now on the screen, 67, so slightly higher than we thought it was going to be. So 6.3 Amber control. We've obviously got the artifact control as well. Speed of 19, so it's got some high E.
Yeah. I mean, you got triple helper bot, double Nepenseed, and then like a bunch of other Lego stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Board not as strong as yours, so 74 when I think yours was 135, was it?
137. 137.
But mine just all came out, so I think 137 in a deck is definitely weaker than 74 on the board.
Yeah. I just opened up that opening hand and I was like mulliganing into sort of 2 Sanctum cards, no creatures, and like 2 untamed small creatures with half of a Niflkong. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, for sure. So +2 meta score. I mean, the meta is quite nice to look at and see what they're thinking with the meta. Take it with a pinch of salt from my point of view, but
yeah,
we've got a bit of artifact control. We've obviously got the board wipe with bouncing Oh, interesting. The board wipe's the Opal Knight. What? Interesting. So okay, so it goes on. Bouncing Deathquark goes under creature control, but it's not classed as a board wipe. That's interesting.
I guess BGQ would seem like a much more of a board wipe than Opal Knight.
I'd probably suggest so as well, but there we go.
Yeah. What do I know?
Well, me either. This is why I play games and commentate and run tournaments, and I don't do anything important.
I do occasionally play in them with mixed results. I took that deck to the last KFBL qualifier, the Triad one. I got banned 6 times.
What, the Kong deck?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So.
Possibly because my other ones weren't that good, but I thought at least one person would let me play it.
Yeah.
Banned 6 times.
I mean, if it's done its job, I mean, depending on what the other 2 decks were that you brought, if you wanted to play the other 2, it's done its job.
Yeah, I wasn't hugely keen on that. That's the problem.
So 60-70, obviously it did a job. Is it my type of playstyle? So let's talk about types of playstyle. What sort of decks do you like to play?
Well, this has AOA logos, which I think is my favorite like house set combo. It's a shame it comes with the rest of AOA sometimes, but in terms of doing things that I enjoy, like triple helper bot Igor, I'm super excited about. I see a deck.
Oh, for sure. So I'm a staunch hater of Sanctum, so I certainly wouldn't choose to play this deck just on theme alone. I mean, having 2 helper bots and 3 helper bots and 2 Nepenseeds is always nice to see when you're picking a deck at random. But
I think Sanctum's got better in mass mutation because they have more effects that aren't just sort of reap based. So we saw stuff like the Xeno Knight. You have like Baldric the Bold. You've got a few more sort of fighting abilities, rather than just trying to overwhelm with creatures that reap. But as we saw, it does do that quite well.
It does, but let's tell the truth, it's boring. You know, you just put. So this is why I don't like Sanctum, early Sanctum, and this is why I don't like Saurians all that much, because their whole play style. Saurians less so, but Sanctum's play style is put big guys out on the board and reap 6 times to victory.
Yeah, and this has been a thematic clash in Team Screech with my co-commentator and the stuff, Baron for Fabulous, loves this sort of thing.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We all know that.
All about
yeah.
all about this, and it will never shut up about it. So whenever we play each other, usually it goes like that. That game just went where I just get beaten off the board by Sanctum creatures. But
so, my play style is if I choose decks, I tend to like high efficiency decks, high amber count, and
this is what I love.
Action heavy. I like action heavy decks.
So do I normally. I just brought the Kong decks. It's fun and normally has a lot of like the sort of 1 and 2 card flashy combos.
No, it was fun.
Which one I think?
Well, if nothing else, it's embraced. You embrace the concept of what we're trying to do with the video series of bring something fun. Because at the end of the day, if you'd have brought an 85, you'd have wrecked this deck to pieces. But bring something fun, something that you can enjoy. We can see how it works. Unfortunately, we saw how it should work, and it didn't. It didn't work this time.
Didn't at all. That's how I lose the games with that deck almost always.
Yeah, for sure. But we know also at this point, if we played the game again, it could have quite happily gone the other way with me not seeing any Sanctum stuff and you just wrecking it to pieces. So
I could have opened with turn 1 Niflcon, which happens like 1 in every 6 or 7 games. I did the math because obviously whenever it happens, I feel quite bad, and the person I'm playing against is like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, sure. No, look,
well, it happens about this much.
So yeah, I mean, we like to keep these videos short. We've seen the 2 decks, we've played a game, and it's been good, man. I've really enjoyed it. I think I'm looking forward to doing many more of these.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'll watch them.
Sure. So I suppose at the end of the video, from me and from Callum, I'll ask you to say bye.
Yep. Been Callum, the good Dr. Young from Team Screech Bomb.
The good Dr. Young.
Well, it's because the Baron for Fabulous, my co-commentator, has a great nickname, so I had to come up with one. And so I will do commentary with him and our technical support, Matt Tag. And so tune in for that, and also all the rest of these videos because I'm quite excited.
For sure.
Quite good.
Yeah, we'll stick a load of links in below where you can see some of the more Team Screech Bob-Omb stuff, and that's how you pronounce it. It's Screech Bob-Omb.
Screech Bob-Omb.
Yep, there you go. It's not that tough. But yeah, from me, Carl at TKM. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Bye bye.